clear night Sunday night with a low around 27. The forecast, a source of PJ's Roofing. When it comes to your roof, they've got you covered at pjsroofing.com.
This is your Frederick Real Estate Update, a conversation about the regional real estate market with tips for buyers and sellers. Your hosts.
Hey folks, welcome back to your Frederick Real Estate Update. I'm Darren here with RE/MAX Result, bringing you 20 years of experience in the Maryland and Southern PA region. And I also have with me the one and only from Presidential Bank Mortgage with all the money in that vault, Mr.
Terry Kernan.
Hey buddy, how we doing?
Couldn't be better.
All right, a little rain dropping out there today, a little wet this weekend and cool.
Very wet. It'll cool down, and then tomorrow I think we're going to see the sun again. But,
there we go.
But can't believe it's December already.
Yes, welcome to December. Santa's on the way.
First Saturday, which is always an awesome day in downtown Frederick, is today, and I don't know what the theme is. But
yeah, what's planned? What are they doing?
No, I did not look, but it's going to be packed.
Oh yeah, what time does it start?
All day. It's always all day.
Yeah, I probably should go down there a little bit, get some office work done and some contracts, and go on down there later on today and see what's happening, right?
Yep, absolutely.
That'd be fun. First Saturday. All righty. Let's get right to it. Right to it, because, man, there is so much happening in the world that we live in. It's changing by the hour and the day and all that kind of stuff. So we got a lot to share with you. But before we do, you can call in 301-694-9363, 301-694-9363. We're going to hear from you and get your thoughts on be a good time of the year now that we're in December, Terry. The year update. What do you think about the entire real estate market for 2022 as we come in for a landing this year? What are your thoughts on it? We're going to be sharing ours, and then we'll give you what we call, I guess we call it, instead of State of the Union, State of the Real Estate and Mortgage Markets and all that. What's been happening? What are the biggest things that we've seen happen and significant things to pay attention to going forward? But we want to hear your thoughts and all that good stuff. So, all right. Terry, mortgage side, what's happening?
Jobs.
Again? Jobs.
Yes,
get to work.
Jobs.
Get off the couch and get to work.
Yeah, so basically what happened in the market this week is yesterday was a big day.
Okay.
Because we were waiting to see what the unemployment was going to be. Now, the feeling was if unemployment stayed at 3.7, that would be good. If it dropped to 3.6, that would have signaled that the Fed would have had to keep raising their rates aggressively.
Right.
So it stayed at 3.7. That was good. But what came out of that is that basically the jobless rate stayed at 3.7, but the demand for labor continues to outstrip supply. So what that means is basically there's 1.7 jobs open for every available worker. But one of the numbers that showed up was hourly earnings went up 0.6%.
Huh.
So you had all these new jobs created. They created 263,000 new jobs. We, as an economy, created that last month. So that's a strong jobs number, which doesn't look good for for them to stop raising rates. They feel that they got to keep raising rates because they're trying to break that job market. What we are seeing is other sectors of the economy, people like the mortgage business, we're seeing a lot of layoffs. We just saw another big round of layoffs from Wells Fargo and a lot of the big guys. Tremendous amount, and we'll get into those numbers, but you're seeing layoffs from other people. So there's 180,000 people that filed for unemployment, but the economy created 263 new jobs. So it's kind of like, I think the future is that they're trying to break the labor market, and that's how they feel that's the only way that they can control inflation. And if there's a way that they could figure out how to increase supply, that would help quell the demand. If the demand's there, we want supply to be even, right?
Right.
But right now, demand is so high and supply is so low. That's why people keep spending, right? And that's why the inflation is there, because people are going to spend more money because they have the money to spend. So so basically what we're taking a look at is Chairman Powell came out this week and he said after 4 consecutive 0.75 hike rates, we're probably only going to do 0.5 in December. And that kind of excited the market, and rates, stock market went up, rates got better, so we're down in the 6.5% range. But what we're taking a look at is it's still that strong jobs market. So they're basically going to continue to raise rates. We're probably going to see a couple of quarter-point rate hikes, and then they've got to sit on their hands, and no matter how tempting it is, they have to stop raising rates, okay? You got to stop at some point, and you got to sit there and see what effect it is causing. What we're seeing in the mortgage business is we're seeing businesses off by 60-70%, right? Now,
wow.
Nobody's refining.
Yeah, that's right, because your side has the
Zero.
two things, right?
Yeah, we have two things. We have
the refis and the purchase.
And the purchase. Well, there's virtually no refis out there. There's an occasional spousal buyout.
Yeah.
But we're doing a lot of home equity loans. Our home equity loan
Wow.
business has quadrupled.
What do you attribute that to?
Rates are so high that most people have a low rate. They've got 3% on their first trust.
Okay.
They have equity in the house because we've been seeing that appreciation that you and I talk about every week.
Oh yeah, like
Growing up,
94% of all people have equity in their home or more.
which is unprecedented.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so what you have is the reason for the increase in the home equity lines of credit is basically somebody has a very stable, fixed, low mortgage payment. They have lots of equity. They want to tap into that equity, and a lot of people are sitting it aside and basically using it only in case of an emergency.
Okay.
The other people that I'm seeing are they're fixing up their house to create more equity.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming in for a
Cash out.
$100,000, $200,000.
Whoa.
We just did one for $300,000, and they decided, well, we want to do a $400,000, line of credit. We do up to $500,000 lines of credit. So they've become very popular. That's increased our business tremendously, and people are getting it because they're not sure of what the next 2 years is going to hold. A lot of people are saying, I had one person that I just closed a home equity line for. He says, I don't need this money, but I've got a daughter going to college.
Oh boy.
So I may need it in the future. The cost on the home equity line is going to do nothing but rise. The interest rate, every time they rise. So we're going to be at 7.5%, 8.5% on a home equity loan. That's a lot of money. But if you get a $250,000 home equity line and you don't use it, you don't get charged that rate, right? You only get used for what you borrow.
Right.
So a lot of people are getting the home equity loans as a safety valve.
Okay.
That's what I'm seeing.
Do you see many people doing home equity loans to consolidate it all, to cash outs, consolidation, or to just, credit cards are at 20%. My HELOC loan, second loan on my house is 8%. Almost save a whole bunch of interest by just doing that. Is that something that you hear people talking about much at all?
Not as much, because a lot of the people that we're talking about so most people, when rates were at 2.5%, 2.75%, 3%, they took cash out and consolidated, and that was only a year to 2 years ago. So for those people to rerun up credit, we're not really there yet. Okay? But that is something that could come into play very, very soon if people lose a job, right? They're going to continue to...
Yeah, this is what worries me. So they're trying to break the job market, trying to cause... The biggest scare to me, Terry, is if we see unemployment go up. If we see unemployment, people lose jobs, I equate everything to the housing. It all starts with jobs, like you said. It was funny how you said it, because it's true. If you don't have income, you can't afford your mortgage, all of a sudden now you got bigger problems in that regard. So that's, in my opinion, that's what we don't want to see. I can't understand why in the world we would ever want to see unemployment go up. That's not a good positive thing for our economy and the country as a general rule in regard to that anyways. I mean, I would think in my mind, the higher interest rates, higher prices of things, that'll do it. That's enough to do it. That's enough to cause people to say, hey, I'm content with what I have. I don't need to get more. So now the demand slows down and all that kind of stuff. But one thing I find what you said that's speeding up demand, in my opinion, is the money that people can tap into their homes. If it's causing them to say, hey, look, we can now fix up our house, that causes the demand for contractors, supplies, materials, and all those things like that. So it becomes, at what point does that side of things slow down to where most people, that are doing this are not using that. And I've always been kind of really nervous about tapping too much into any of equity for a home just for pleasure and fun use, or college kids' tuitions and all those things like that, simply because what happens if values in these homes, we start to see values start to go down more and more and more and more. Now you don't have that equity there, and now all of a sudden it almost becomes deja vu 2009, 10, and 11. And where we had the lowest amount of equity that people held in their homes and such like that.
Yeah.
So we don't want that either, And so it's an amazing thing. What else are you experiencing as well with like loan types and things like that, grants, all that kind of stuff like that?
So the grants are still very prevalent. Our Federal Home Loan Bank grant ends December 15th, and then it restarts in January.
Oh, okay. So there'll be a little gap.
Plenty of money. Yeah, we have plenty of money between now and then.
Good.
And so we're getting the last couple, grants in, but it's going to restart, probably the third week of January that it always does. Starting to see an uptick in people wanting to get qualified.
Yeah.
Okay. People getting ready, and if we just got to get the rate stable, and they have come down a little bit.
Yeah, that's been positive, as you know.
Very, very positive. So if we can settle out at around 6.5%, it's just crazy that we're even talking about 6.5% settling out.
Settling out, getting comfortable at 6.5.
Getting comfortable at 6.5. But if we can just, like I've said on this show numerous times, and when I talk to realtors and borrowers, I always say, I can sell stability. Give me stability.
Yep.
Volatility is a very hard sell in anything, because pandemonium breeds pandemonium. Fear breeds fear. And I've said that a million times on this show. So I think things are going to settle down. I think December is going to be good.
Yeah.
Good and steady. Steady is good. And then I think what we're going to see is we're going to start to see more and more demand hitting around January 1st.
Yep.
And people, we're going to have, I think, an okay market for, January, February, March. Spring market may start around January 15th. But we just got to stop raising these rates and see what it's going to do.
Yeah. I'm definitely seeing more stability. I just had a home we just listed, in Newmarket. It's the doldrums. I told them between now and Christmas, don't expect a whole bunch, really. I mean, if you get an offer and this and that, that's probably pretty good. But as a general rule, we're going to be at the spring market. I had a listing last night. I was sitting with a seller, and they're looking to put it on the market about the middle of February, and for what they're doing in their life. And I said, that's perfect. I said, spring market to Western real estate starts January 2nd. And she looked at me and goes, really? I said, oh yeah, January 2nd is when we get a whole new group of buyers that have been in their pajamas looking at homes from Thanksgiving through Christmas. They've been sipping on their eggnog, and they are ready to go by the time January 2nd hits. So I think that's another positive thing, which brings us to the dynamic, Terry, of the inventory stuff. So remember, I've always said this is about the time of the year we see the lowest amount of inventory, and that's because of two prongs. That's number one. This is the time when you got the least amount of sellers willing to sell in the holidays, between the holidays typically, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you have the least amount of demand for buyers because it's the holidays as well. It's more of a seasonal thing than anything. But the other factor we have is people wanting to sort of see the stability thing like we talked about. Like, are we going to hover in and kind of get stable? And I think I'm learning from most people that they feel like the worst of the instability is over. Mm-hmm. Which is good. This is a good thing, right?
Right.
So we don't need anything else to bring any instability at all. If we, like you said, if we can just bounce around these parameters of where we're at now, and which would be amazing if we could just get under 6% for a good while here. If we could get to 5.75, that would be amazing as far as the idea of affordability and all that, and it would be a big difference. It really would. So here's what I'm seeing now. Actives 423 on the market total. That's new construction, everything. Now the kicker is the new construction's up to 180. We've always bounced around 150, 160. We're at 180. So we have a pretty good supply. We have a pretty good amount of new construction that's going to continue. This will continue in Frederick County. 243 resales. I just got one on yesterday, so one of those is my number. And 59, this is the big one, 59 days average time on the market. By the way, the one I put on, I'm going to promote because it's our program. 11304 Worcester Court in New Market, 4-bed, 3.5 bath, little over 3,000 square feet, pristine, perfect house, colonial, gorgeous, got quartz countertops. Come on, what's there not to like? Bamboo floors, wood. This place is smoking. It's gorgeous. And it's in a great area, cul-de-sac location, fenced in backyard, paver brick patio type thing.
Family ready.
It's family ready. This is turnkey, baby. We just got this puppy up on the market yesterday. We did the 3D tour. I just put it out there in the Matterport 3D tour with all the professional photos and everything. It's gone viral on Zillow. My seller was quick. This is what I love about you guys. My seller was very quick to text me last night that we've had in one day, over 250 eyeballs seen it and 12 saved searches. I know these numbers. I'm a numbers guy, right? He asked, is that pretty good? I said, yeah. Anytime you get more than 100 views a day on Zillow, you're doing good. That's been our average we've seen. You had 250 the first day. That's amazing. That's a good amount of buyers that are interested still. That shows how buyer demand is not just about how many showings you're getting. It's about the interest with the real estate market. Okay. Now, some of those are fake news because they could be other sellers of things watching their value and wanting to know what's out there, what's my competition if I sold today, is the prices going down? Those are that segment of people, but that's really probably only about 20% of the market that's looking. 80% are viable buyers. They're saying, hey, I'm wanting to see what's out there. I might go through the threshold tomorrow, who's got an open house or not, or I'm going to get pre-qualified in the next 2 weeks with Terry. So in January, I'm getting ready to buy, in February, and so we're off to the races. So that's the positive side of the fact that I do like to pay attention to these algorithms of these third-party vendors to see. I'll look at 4 or 5 of them and see the numbers to see what's the trend of the market, the flow of the buyers looking at things. So that was really good.
So can I ask one question about the listing?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did you do it coming soon?
No coming soon. Out of the gate. Boom. Active today.
Good.
Come and see it.
Because you're going to talk about the coming soon number, which is pretty low.
Oh, that's a good thing. So this house here, guess how much this home is? You got to guess it. Come on, price is right. Here we go. The first number begins with a 4.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say 525.
Nope.
So I'm going to say 499.9.
Not quite. No.
475?
In this market? No, in this market, where we need to be?
3% under the last.
There we go. And that's definitely, we played that rule into effect.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. So, no, I'm sorry. It's a 5. 549. I'm sorry. 549. There were homes that were around.
You said the first number was
sorry,
4.
it's a 5.
So I was right.
You were right. 5.
I was going to say 520.
Not a big deal.
550.
I have my numbers. I got my dexterity. I got my backwards thing going on, right? My dyslexia. All right. So here's what it is. 549. Now, if we would have listed this home, check this out. Now, Terry, this is what the public needs to know. If we would have put this home on the market 8 months ago with a 3% interest rate, it wouldn't be 549. It would have probably been more. It would have probably been more in the 565 to 575 range. Okay. So we have seen a little of an adjustment period over these 8-10 months. Okay. It went way high, sky high up because I looked at some of the data of what were these homes in this neighborhood in New Market West it's in. What were they selling for 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Well, they were in the 499, 525 range. So we see the market come up 8 or 10%. That's about 40 to 50 grand, which would throw you in that 560, 575-ish range, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then some of the larger square foot homes and everything, we're selling close to that 600,000 range and all that. So interesting. And now you're competing with Lake Lenore. But the advantage of this is that it's beautiful because why? It's Oakdale schools. It's great schools, right? So you got a lot of positive things. House is gorgeous and this and that. Very nice with a finished basement partially done, and it's 3,000 square feet, and it's boom, here you go. So we're right on the money. I think we're close. I think we're good. So Only time will tell. But we do have some showings that are getting set up now, and it's good stuff. So here's the big thing, too. 59 days on the market, though. We've come up a little bit.
Okay.
And then the median price average has not moved at all, which is amazing. The last 2 weeks, we are like right in that 475. And it's like, plateauing. We're plateauing on the medians, right? So that's interesting to watch. Coming soon, big one, 26. That's the lowest we've seen in 2 years.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for
Which
any
is fine,
buyers,
which is understandable.
it's good. Yeah, I was gonna
Let's
say
get it
this
on
is
the market,
normal.
just like your buyer. Like,
But the big jump will be in January. If we don't see us go back to like 75 to 100 coming soon, a couple things are going on. A, either it's an inventory thing still,
okay.
or B, people are now just bypassing. They just don't even want to be in the coming soon status at all, and they're doing what my sellers did and saying, no, let's get this thing ready. Let's put it as active out of the gate. Let's get all the horses to come flying out at one time rather than lining up and getting ready to see my home.
What do you think it'll be more of, A or B?
I think it's going to be more A, the people going to active much sooner, or the coming soons will just be maybe a week or less, not 2 and 3 weeks like we could do. I am never in for any of that. I don't know if there's a good advantage of that. I really don't. I'll give you a good example. I have a client now, they're buying a house in cash in Pennsylvania, okay? Third-party approval, short sale, we should have it any minute, but they're starting to get a little frustrated. I told them, yeah. So there's a house that they're really interested in Sykesville, okay? Eldersburg and Westminster. And it meets their needs. They're excited to buy it, the whole 9 yards. We looked at it. What's the coming soon status? Oh, it's another week out. They want to go tomorrow. I mean, if this house...
put a contract on it before it goes live, right?
Okay.
You can't see it.
You can't see it, but they could do that. I told them that's an option. Tie it up. Just put something in. But the whole idea of this is they're going, hey, Darren, oh, man, I wish this was coming soon for a day and we can go see it tomorrow. Well, how many more buyers are like that out there? Because they're in a race with time right now. So you do have some of that kind of stuff going on as well. So that's interesting. All right, so we want to get your thoughts. 301-694-9363. 301-694-9363. Terry, put his finger up. What's up? Back in the room.
I was going to say one of the things that I saw this week was one of our listeners is a realtor, and he called me on Tuesday, and he said, I was listening to your program a couple weeks ago, and he said you talked about the assumable loans. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And talked about VA assumable. So there's a house in Montgomery County that went on the market, VA, and it was advertised at a 2.5% assumable rate.
Nice.
So I can't help them. They have to go through the current servicer of the mortgage. But just to give you an idea, what we talked about doing was doing an assumable mortgage at 2.5%, very low. The mortgage is only 2 years old, so they still have 28 years left. But the people had put down money on a VA loan, so there's a lot of equity there that they have to come up with, and we're taking a look at getting them a 100% CLTV, combined loan to value, so they will assume the first trust, and then they will put a second trust on the mortgage for the difference in the value. So that was something that came from the show, just to let everybody know that assumable mortgages are we're going to see more of them.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff.
Sorry to interrupt, but that
was good.
I forgot about that earlier.
Pending under contracts. This is the fun stuff. Resales, 492 complete total that we've had, which is about average for this time of the year overall. A little below in the last couple of years, of course, but over the last 10 years, if I look at that, or last 5 years, really, it's probably pretty average. 255 resales and 237 new. A lot of new construction. I'm helping 2 people right now with brand new builds. Okay. So we're seeing that. And sold the last 30 days, 290. 298, I'm sorry, 298. We went below 300. Wow. Wow. That means 10 homes a day, and that's it. And that's really low, guys, really low.
And that number was, what, 1,100 last March?
Yes. Yeah, we were topped 1,000.
So we're down...
60%, 70%.
We're down at least 70%.
So a lot of that's seasonal, of course, but not completely, because if I look back basically a year or two in December at this time last year, At this time last year, it wasn't 298; it was over 600. So we're probably 50% off the mark based on market, not just seasonal, just that alone. So, all right, the next thing: 23 days of the market, time of the market where those sold, and then resale was out of those 457. The list of price ratio is big one, 98.1. That's dropped down.
That's almost 2% lower.
Yeah, it's already down. 98.1 is starting to really kick in. This is the big one, Terry. I did 7 days. I went back and last 30. I took the resales last 7 days. It's 96.8. That I forgot to do previous, and I thought, wait a minute, let me crunch this down to the last 7 days because that's going to give like a really good snapshot if that's lower, and it is 96.8. So that's where we see that as well. And then the new construction in the last year, the last 365 days of all new construction, somebody asked me to do this. How much higher than 100% is the list of value ratio? And it was 102.3%. So we're up 2.3% in the last whole year of all new construction.
But I think that can be very skewed.
It is. So I take that out.
Because you take a look at a base price, and that base price doesn't include, upgraded countertops or so I think that's
so all the extras and options and all those fun things like that. So, all right, we got about 45 seconds of the program, Terry. Strategy stuff we were talking about quite a bit before and everything. I'm going to change that up, and I had said you got to know the last sold homes and the condition and price of those and be a little underneath of those to get a multiple offer, no doubt about it. Now the rates have come down just a hair. That does not affect anything whatsoever right now, so we can't put that into play in our strategy. I would not do that. But I had said now revising it to a 5%, then the last home sold, that is the revision I would make. And that's what I'm talking strategy with sellers right now, and they completely agree and see it, how important that is to do that simply because of where what's been happening and going forward in the market and all that. So, all right, folks, thanks so much. Take care. We are very much looking forward to hearing from you once again about your questions and thoughts and everything. And have a great weekend. We'll see you next week on your Frederick Real Estate Update.